Learn Glover. All right, we're going to a quick commercial break. Stay tuned. All right, everybody, welcome back to Awesome Games Done Quick 2014, raising funds for the Prevent Cancer Society. Our next game is Bastion, to be run by Vulajin. So upcoming donation incentives, the Donkey Kong Country Glitched Warps Run is currently at $700 out of $4,000. So we would appreciate helping out with our donation incentive for this. You can also donate for the boy's name and the girls and sprites names in Secret of Mana. As well as which game will be played for Star Wars SNES. Currently in the lead is Super Empire Strikes Back at $1,498.63. Super Return of the Jedi at $234.99. And Super Star Wars A New Hope at $170.
Everyone has their own, man. Everyone has their own.
I use it. Seems the only thing the Calamity saved for Zolf was the smoking pipe.
Yeah, are you guys good? Yeah, I think we're ready. Okay. All right. So time for this game doesn't actually start when I hit new game here, so I'll tell you when it is. But basically, we go from when movement actually starts.
So by first input.
Basically, this game is a 2D brawler. A lot of people have played it, and good for them. A lot of people haven't played it, and shame on them. It's really fun, and it's narrated, which is awesome. All right, so time is going to start. 3, 2, 1, go. So this is Bastion. Basically, as I'm playing this game, the whole kind of backstory of this game is the world has been destroyed by the Calamity, whatever that is. And you're this kid, and you wake up in the middle of this, whatever this is, and you have to make your way to the Bastion. And the Bastion is basically the last refuge for the remains of humanity, pretty much. And the idea is the Bastion apparently can restore the world to what it's supposed to be. In order to do that, you have to collect these items called cores and shards. And there's a total of 14 of them. And there's a total of 19 levels. 14 of the levels have cores, and 5 of them do not. Incidentally, I will constantly refer to cores and shards as just cores, because they're basically the same item as far as the game is concerned. So I'll talk a little more about why this run is so short in just a minute. You might notice that I killed the bartender just there. I'm really sorry. He was already dead in my defense. And killing him spawns that shield more quickly, so it saves time. So, I mean, wouldn't you?
Yes, I would.
So now we're just going to kill everything in here. A lot of Bastion is based on triggers. You just have to do a particular thing as quickly as you can. And I'm failing at that right now, but that's all right. And that causes the game to allow you to progress to the next objective. So in this case, you have to kill every single thing in here, except you can leave up to 2 squirts alive. These are the little guys with squirts. And then you can exit this area.
Big old fella.
You should also probably mention at this point why you're using mouse control, because I'm positive a lot of people are kind of confused.
I absolutely should. That, and I should mention one other thing as well, and that ties in really well as I go outside here. So this game has 3 modes of control. It has gamepad control using an Xbox controller or whatever you want. And it has keyboard controls using WASD, and has mouse controls. Mouse controls are fastest, and the reason they are fastest is that using mouse move, your speed of walking gets added to the speed of rolling, which you see that I'm doing all the time. So as a result, you move about 30% faster, and it's optimal to use mouse movement. Unfortunately, that means that running this game on Xbox is just slower by default. We don't really have a category for that or anything, but I'm sure if someone wanted to run it, they would get considered separately. So there I just fell off the world, and that's a great time to talk about falling. So kind of one of the main gimmicks of this game is that as you go, the ground kind of forms up as you're going. And it's very, very easy, because I'm moving 30% faster than I should be, to just kind of go faster than the ground expects me to be going. And if I do that, I'm very likely to fall off the edge. So a lot of the speedrun of this game is just optimizing when you roll and kind of the rhythm that you use in order to avoid falling off the world. All right, so there's 2 things that are going to happen in very quick succession here. Right now, I am just waiting for a big guy to spawn. This guy is a really large gas fella. You'll see exactly what it looks like right now. I'm going to use him to boost through this game. That's not really intended. And the second thing that just happened, which I'm not going to talk about at length, is core duplication. So at the end of the first level, at the end of every level that has a core, there's a core. That's redundant. Basically, I have bound my pickup item button to mouse wheel down on my mouse. So when I go up to the core, I scroll the mouse wheel really quickly. And it turns out that the game actually detects the input twice, possibly on consecutive frames or something like that, before it actually realizes that the item has been picked up. And as a result, you can pick up 2 cores. So if you played this game before, you might be wondering what the hell is going on right here. Basically, because I picked up 2 cores, I can just drop them in when I get to the Bastion, and there's no problem. Also, as a side effect, the game knows that I've dropped in 2 cores, and it knows that I have 2 building spots available, but it doesn't realize that I need to theoretically build 2 buildings. It only requires 1. Funny story, if I go back to the Bastion right now, it'll require me to build another building, which is really irritating and time-consuming, so obviously I would not want to do that. Also, because we're not going to be going to all the levels where you get all the buildings, we're not actually able to build all 6. And as a result, if we did the wrong sequence of events, we would end up in a situation where we're sitting in the Bastion, we have 6 building spots, 1 of them is empty, we've built 5 buildings, and it is waiting for us to build a building, but we actually can't leave, and we can't build anything. And our data has already been saved, so the game is just over. Obviously, I'm not going to do that in this run because that would result in bad times.
Makes time to sample spirits from my personal supply.
So, you might have noticed just there that I opened the distillery and then didn't do anything. There's a very complicated way that this game handles the dialogue that the narrator has. And the kind of the long story is when you go to the Skyway, sometimes Rux will want to talk. He'll just want to tell you something about, I don't know, current events, whatever, the weather, who cares. I don't want to listen to it, and if he starts talking about it, he's going to make me wait. So I don't want to wait. So instead what I do is I get him talking beforehand. In that case, I opened the distillery and got him talking about that. And as a result, when I went to the Skyway, he was still talking about that. And when Rux is talking, he can't start saying a different thing. So that saves some time.
Something else you did there? Just did 2 clips, a clip through a gate and a clip over ground that you aren't normally supposed to walk past.
That's true.
One of them is due to the hitboxes for the metal gates with mouse movement and rolling. You can roll through some of them at the proper angle, and because of the mouse movement, increased speed from mouse movement, you travel fast enough to go past the gap before it realizes that you should fall.
Actually, funny story about that gap. You can walk over it. So recently I did a roll-less run where I just didn't roll. Like I unbound my roll key and did a run because I hate myself. And you can actually just go right over that and there's no problem. However, he's right about the gate. Basically, the rolling allows you to kind of go through places where you shouldn't be able to go. And in fact, you actually don't even need mouse movement for some of those clips. This is actually a great time to talk about those clips because this level has 2 of them, if I recall correctly. So right here, we can't do anything about those. Also, Cinderbrick Fort is a really great example, as with the previous level, of the ground just not forming up as quickly as you really want it to go. So right now we're going to pick up this weapon. This costs like several seconds to pick up, but it saves a huge amount of time in the next level. The strap musket is basically just a ton of short-range damage. So right here after the core, we can just go around that gate. Boy, gates are really solid in this game. And then at the end of the level, basically there's going to be a giant arena where we're supposed to fight all these dudes. I mean, there's a lot of dudes, and I'm really not interested in wasting my time with that. So basically that gate is made of 2 barriers. There's the gate itself, which is obviously there, and then there's a barrier behind the gate that's kind of invisible. And if you roll at the precise angle, you just kind of go right through it. Alright, so now we are going to go back to the Bastion, and now building order has really matters. Basically, I am going to do another one of the skips of the narration on the Skyway, which I was talking about earlier. This one is really complicated and dumb. Basically, I'm going to upgrade the memorial, he'll start talking, I'll open the memorial, claim an item there, he will still be talking barely, so he won't say any of the things that those 2 things would trigger. Then I'm going to build the Lost and Found, he'll start talking about that, then I'll go to the Skyway and he won't be able to talk. Did you get all that? I don't think so, but that's alright. This saves approximately 8 seconds.
Did you confirm your ending?
Sorry?
Did you confirm your ending?
Yes. We are doing evacuation. Apparently, I failed the skip, so that's unfortunate. Basically, if you get the skip, then he's still talking by the time you get to the Skyway, and then you save that text, which, as you saw, is very long. So in this level, we're going to pick up a weapon called the Brusher's Pike, and this item is going to be super, super useful and powerful, and we're going to have a grand old time with it. The first thing that it is really good for is killing things, and I'm a big fan of that. Basically, the theme of this level is there's that thing right there, which is called an ankle gator. That particular one is named Queen Anne. She's a real handful. Just there, we used her to boost over a gap that we really shouldn't have been able to boost over. In fact, in that area right there, I could have just used her again, but instead I just clipped through the wall because I can. Alright, so now I have to kill her. And this requires two pretty precise sequences of attacks. I need to get a pike thrust, musket shot, pike thrust twice when she pops up. And there's not a lot of time to do that, and it looks like I just didn't get it. So instead, I'll 3-cycle her. Hello. So now that we have the pike, we can do the other thing that the pike is good for, which is breaking the game. There's an ability that I'm going to pick up right now called the Pike Vault. And basically, Pike Vault is like, if you're familiar with Final Fantasy games, it's like the Dragoon jump attack, where you just kind of leap into the air, and then after a brief moment, you land somewhere, and you deal a ton of damage. Pike Vault, in this game, when you jump up, a targeting circle appears, and you can kind of tell the game where you want to land. You get about 1.5 seconds, and you can move it around. The speed that the targeting circle moves is dependent on the momentum that you had when you used it. So, remember that we're using mouse movement, and when we're mouse moving, when we roll, it's 30% faster. So if we combine that with the Pike Vault, we can kind of cross long distances. Funny story, in this level, there is a ridiculously precise trick that until about 2 weeks ago, there was no video anywhere on the internet that it even existed. Shoutouts to Red Buddha, he's the one that told me that this exists. Obviously, a trick this precise in a marathon, I wouldn't even really bother trying. Or I might.
When we look down inside Colford Cauldron.
We didn't get it. It's alright.
Just to put into perspective how precise that is, even Buddha, the guy who showed Vulajin, had never actually done the trick.
Yeah. I think he had done it once.
Did he?
And there was no video of it. Right. Incidentally, I actually can do that trick now semi-consistently, but obviously you can see that I didn't get in this run.
You just have to get that shard out of there.
Yeah, I probably practiced that for about 8 or 9 hours over the course of the last 3 days, but that's a ridiculous trick, and you can't get every time. Anyway, so this is the third to last level. So remember that I said that we're doing core duplication, and because the game treats cores and shards as the same thing, basically all we need to get is any 7 cores and duplicate each of them, and then we're done with the game. But, I'm sorry, and that, you would think that would mean, okay, well then just do 7 levels that have cores or shards, and you're done, right? Well, actually, I'm going to do a level that doesn't have a core or a shard. And the reason I'm going to do it, the level is Prosper Bluff. This is the level, if you're familiar with the story, this is the level where you pick up Zia. And the reason I'm doing this level is that this unlocks Wild Outskirts, and it turns out that combined, the 2 of these levels are actually faster than the next fastest option. The next fastest option is Melting Pot, which is like the 2nd level in normal play, and it's really slow as balls. Like, it takes 3+ minutes, and it's basically an auto-scroller. There's not really anything interesting you can do to speed up. And now I need serious time because this level is really hard. So give me a sec.
So Melting Pot is a huge level where you are forced to fight a bunch of enemies, and they spawn in a particular order at a particular time after each other.
Wow, dude.
So
this is the most times I've missed this in the last long time. All right, there we go. It's all right. So this fall is intentional. You can get across only by doing that.
As long as you're close enough to the other side.
Yeah,
and
for whatever reason, like, there's random invisible platforms that'll hold you for just long enough to get a roll off. and so you can abuse that to make the game think that you fell off of a different platform.
Yes. Incidentally, that very precise pike vault that I was supposed to do in Culford Cauldron relies on that. You land outside the ground, all you see is your shadow, and then you roll and everything's okay. So the item that I just picked up at the end of the level there is called the Hidebound Journal. And because you guys donated for the evacuation ending, I have to pick that item up. It's actually slower to pick it up by about 6 seconds. So normally in a speedrun, I would not get it. I would use a pike vault to skip from that last platform onto where Zia is. But it turns out that the evacuation ending is not unlocked unless you pick that item up, specifically that item. It doesn't have to do with picking up Zia, it doesn't have to do with picking up Zulf, or saving Zulf at the end of the game, or anything really at all. It is that journal. That is a thing that you pretty much can't find out unless you do this glitch category.
Yeah, basically if you get to the end of the game without picking up the journal, then instead of a choice of endings, all you can do is the restoration.
Yeah, and it still pops up the options where you have to pick one of the two. But when I say one of the two, what I mean is the one. There's only one. So this level is straightforward unless you do this. But it's all good. Alright, so now we're just going to kind of skip through everything in the rest of the level. It turns out walls in this game are not very solid. So this is actually the last level of the run, but this is not the end of the run because we have to go deposit the 2 shards, cores, whatever, it's all the same thing. And then we're going to pick an ending. So that was a decent run. Basically, once you get to this point, it's decided like what your time is. So you can't save or lose any time on the end here unless you talk to an NPC. So in the end of the game, there's an area in the heart of the Bastion where you have to choose your ending. Before you can do that, you have to open dialogues with 2 NPCs, and they both have like options to see these 9-second dialogue sequences that once you initiate one, you can't skip it. We're going to try not to do that because it's dumb, but I have definitely done that a lot in practice, way too much.
It's finally finished.
All right, so now we're going to the heart of the Bastion, and then we'll end the game. Incidentally, once we finish this, just hold the time and hold the applause, because we also met the donation incentive for the credits duet.
To the heart of the Bastion.
And that's going to be like right after the run ends. So we'll just sit tight for a minute. We'll enjoy the ending text, and then we'll sing.
To do the honors. We can tell you how to work this thing if you got any questions.
Hey, I didn't talk to anybody. Yes. I picked the wrong ending. What the crap is wrong with me? It's all right. We'll just pretend that didn't happen. Sorry, I'm so used to doing that. Wow, I don't even know what's up with that. Oh, are we doing the last level again? We might be doing the last level again. Or we might be soft-locked. That might be cool. Cool, I just soft-locked us.
It might
yes! Runs over time! Wow, that wasn't even a good time for soft locking us. Okay, so funny story. We can't get to the credits now easily. So what we can do instead is like find someone's like iPhone and play the song and just sing it, because we do have to meet that donation incentive.
We can pull you
I got mine right here.
Okay. Well, we can pull YouTube up on the machine.
All right, awesome.
I actually spent the last 2 hours learning the song.
Yeah, so we can't not do
the
this.
YouTube video.
I gotta say, I was not actually expecting to do that. I was expecting a lot of different kinds of failure. I was expecting to screw up the Culford Cauldron pike vault, but I was not expecting to soft lock the game.
Well, technically, you did already put in the last input, right?
That's true, technically.
So that was a finished run.
Yeah.
Sure, absolutely. We'll. All right, cool. We've got the the thing. So we're now in full screen. If you'd like to. I really hope.
I think since I got up here.
Just be close enough, or should I just like remove it and hold
If
it
you want to
close?
mute the other mics.
Yeah.
This is not quite how I expected this.
Okay, so we have.
Backup signal going.
You guys ready for the audio to start?
Oh, man.
Man, we should have brought like a piano in.
All right, hold on. From Bastion. Incidentally, this is a very good game. You should buy it. These guys, right here, buy their games. Transistor coming out this year. I set my sail. Are you kidding me? Come on. This is the long version. They stripped this from the credits. The MP3 version has. I can't handle that.
Did you just pull up the words of the instrumental?
Yes, that's exactly what I did. This is 3 hours long.
Extended version.
It's the extended edition.
I set my sail. Fly the wind, it will take me back to my home, sweet home. Lie on my back, clouds are making way for me. I'm coming home, sweet home. I see your star, you left it burning for me. Mother, I'm here.
So another 3 hours now?
Yeah, no, we're good. I think this has the correct number of words. So. Good speed run.
Everything went perfectly right. And if there's anything wrong there, you made all the tricks that you needed to. Did not solve
I didn't get the one. I didn't get the one. Eyes open wide, feel your heart and it's glowing. I'm welcome home, sweet home. I take your hand, now you'll never be lonely. Not when I'm home, sweet home. I see your star, you left it burning for me. Mother, I'm here. Thank you. All right. Before I walk off, quick shout outs to Intellects, Red Buddha, Sereth, who was supposed to be here running this game, but unfortunately couldn't make it. Lawyer Dog, whose tutorial video is awesome, and if you want to learn this game, you should go watch it. Everyone else who runs Bastion, Croaky, who did it for the SOG Marathon, 2-Bit Marksman, you guys are awesome. And my parents, who, despite not knowing anything about video games and the fact that the run was scheduled for 6 a.m., were asking me how to watch. So thank you guys so much. I love you. All right. Yep. Chrono Trigger, 100%. $50 closer. Thank you very much.
All right, that was Bastion. Coming up next is Another World.